Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
I want to hear the whole song. He keeps testing me. I want to hear the whole song.
What a tease.
When I get older. Give me a little reverb here, Mr. B. Give me a little reverb. Okay? When I get...
Ancestry DNA.
Ready? A little reverb on my voice, please. Hello? When I get far too much. No, there's too much there. You got to turn it down. It's too wet. It's too wet. Wet Rhett. Not, Mr. B, this is priority. Forget about the song. Put my voice down. Gee, Willikers, he's over there.
Will you still be sending me a
Valentine, birthday greetings, bottle of wine. If I've been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? He keeps stopping my song. All right, kill the reverb, Mr. B. Kill the reverb. There we go. And that was my nephew on the line.
Yeah,
No?
you had no reverb on my ears here. I couldn't hear any reverb.
Well,
Not that it still sounded very good though. So
don't worry.
about it.
Let me tell you something. There's enough space between those ears that you'll have your own reverb.
I got it. Yep, indeed. You sounded fine. You don't need the reverb to mask your voice.
So anyway, well, thank you. Thank you.
It's funny you went off on a religious tangent there. I hope that's the last of that.
No, it's my show, and I'm going to declare my belief in Jesus.
Oh boy, but save it for the other 4 days a week.
Hallelujah! Now, son, I want you to repent from your, but get down on your knees.
I got to tell you though, that's the moment you start talking about that, my mind just shuts it down. I don't even want to hear it.
That's right. You know why? Because
I have no interest.
Because the spirit of man is antichrist. That's right.
Yeah.
That's because the devil's got a hold of your ankle.
Yeah. Listen, for your birthday, I'll give you an amen. Amen.
Is that an almond? ALMOND or an amen?
You know,
My New
James
York
really.
accent, it hides sometimes.
What's that?
My New York accent comes out sometimes.
What's the matter with John Ryder, buddy? Where you from, by the way? You were from Bronx, aren't you?
Brooklyn. Born Bronx, raised Brooklyn.
Born Bronx, raised Brooklyn.
I got out.
Now, were you in a like a home for kids before you got adopted?
It was handled by Catholic Charities, and from I don't know anything for a fact, but based upon asking people in the support group, it seems that most likely I was in a foster family for 3 months until I was adopted.
Okay, now you are very angry towards the Catholic Church because you think that they did you wrong, but there's a lot of good people that are Catholics, a lot of good people that are not Catholics, but these are strangers that fed you. They clothed you.
The foster parents were probably wonderful people. I have no problem with the foster parents.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the Catholic Church's role in the coercion and the hiding of documents. They want to burn the records. I know from
Why?
A personal story.
Why?
That they attempted to contract someone to burn the records.
Why?
And I'm not even joking. I don't know, because they're insane.
Well,
past the collection plate.
Oh no! Well, I don't know, but anyway, people, whether they're after money or they're not after money or whatever, people try to be controlling. You get people, and see, the reason you're turned off when I bring up Jesus is because there's other people. They want to form religions, and they want to form okay, we're all going to get dressed up in purple, and we're the purple people, and we're the people that are under the steeple, and we're the purple people, and we're going to heaven, and everybody else is going to hell, because mankind is so stupid that they want to create these little niches. They want to create their own little clubhouse, and so a guy like you rightfully is turned off from that. And I hated religion. I did not believe in Jesus till I was 29. I was into Eastern religions. I thought, oh my gosh, Jesus, God's going to come as son, and then blah blah blah. But you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, literally.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I'm starting to shut down again.
Go ahead and shut down. Hey, James, nanny.
All I'm hearing is like in Snoopy, blah 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 blah.
Nanny, poo poo. Nanny, nanny,
All
poo
right,
poo.
so listen. Let's segue in from the Catholic Church.
Yes.
What I consider their crimes against humanity in the coercion that they place upon these mothers to surrender their children. I think is their hands are dirty with that.
Okay, tell us how that's done. What do they do?
Well, I don't want to get too deep into that, but just suffice it
What?
to say that they
You got to back this stuff up, Bucko.
The segue I'm getting into, one of the best satisfactions I get is to be a part of this group where we have expected moms that are in a tumultuous time, and they're just scared and they don't know what to do, and the money's tight, and they come in and they're thinking about relinquishing their child to adoption. Mm-hmm. And they come in and they start hearing from grown adoptees and other mothers who years ago surrendered their children. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to personally, I know for one woman especially, thanked me directly that she kept her child, and it's been about a half a year or so, and she's beyond over the moon happy. And Amber, can you speak to that point, and like how, if you were to guess each and every month how many expected moms come into the group, and we're presenting them with information. That's all we're doing. We're letting them hear adoptees and giving them information that they're not getting anywhere else. How many of these moms come into the group, Amber, and actually listen to these facts and realize the mistake they're about to make and don't make the mistake?
Sure. Well, what I would say is that the group has been around for about a year and a half, and in that time, what we've had is several mothers coming to the group, joining the group, and saying, "Look, I'm desperate. I'm alone. I am pregnant with this baby. I need to make a decision. I'm considering adoption. I don't know what to do. I need help." And so many of our members who are adoptees and birth parents just come and offer support and information, their personal experience, what adoption meant to them, how it affected their lives, their family, and just by having just the information alone, most of the time these women decide that parenting is the best option for them, and it's absolutely amazing to watch these women go from feeling despair and feeling alone to having people to talk to and the resources and decide to parent. It's really amazing. And I would say it happens monthly. We've had 30 probably who have decided, based on all of the information that they've gotten, that they
now you two are not you guys are not anti-adoption.
No, I'm not anti-adoption at all. I mean, I'm an adoptive parent, obviously.
Yeah.
I would say I'm pro-ethical adoption. I'm anti-unnecessary adoption. I'm pro-adoptee rights.
Okay, now hold on. Let's open up one of those doors. Anti-unethical adoption. Expound on that. So, you got to understand, you two are in this world, and every week James brings somebody on, and that's your whole world, and I get it. But for little people like me, I'm going, oh wow, what's that? And we don't know there's another side to this because we just think, oh boy, somebody's been adopted, somebody loves somebody, isn't that wonderful? And we're touched in our hearts. But so what is unethical? What is it? Get behind that.
Well, there are a series of very common unethical practices that are used, especially in domestic infant adoption and in international adoption.
Okay, tell us a story, because stories always punctuate something, so we get it.
Sure. Some of them would be pre-birth matching. A lot of people consider that to be unethical because it places these two people, this mother who is in a difficult position, becomes attached to these hopeful adoptive parents, and so it places undue pressure on her to be forming that relationship instead of focusing on herself and on her baby, if that makes sense. Yeah. Being in the hospital during delivery and birth is considered unethical by a lot of people because, again, it takes the focus off of the mother and the child who need to be having that time alone, and it puts it onto the mother then is focusing on the needs of the hopeful adoptive parents and starting to worry about, if she's starting to question her decision about placing, then she's saying, but look how happy they are. Look how much they already want this baby and love this baby. They're holding this baby. And I'd be just a terrible person if I were to change my mind now after we've been through this whole thing. So those are some things prior to birth. Then there are some legal things. Certain states have really short, you can sign in the hospital. You can sign your rights away in the hospital. And obviously a woman's just given birth and is oftentimes on medications, and she's just gone through a physical trauma, and that's not a time to be making permanent life-altering decisions. And in some states, there is no revocation period. So the minute your pen leaves that paper, it's done. You don't have a chance to think about it and say, I kind of made a decision in a crisis, and that wasn't the right decision. There's no chance to change your mind. So just things like that. Anything you'd like to add, James? Anything? I'm sure I'm missing so many things.
No, you're doing great. I mean, it's amazing that these young mothers will come into the group, and I can't read every post. I don't I don't donate the amount of time that Amber does to the group, but I've read enough, and I find it amazing that the expected mothers that wind up keeping their children, just how they're so happy, the love, and they just escaped. They realize what they didn't do and what they escaped, the trauma they escaped, and they're just phenomenally thrilled, and it's really, really pleasing to see that. I wish that, and I say this without any regret about my adopted life and my adopted parents and my aunts and uncles. I love I had a wonderful family, but I wish someone was there to talk to my mom, because I didn't get to spend the years with my natural mother. And maybe if she had the information, her choice may have been different. Yeah, well, what about your Uncle Rhett, your religious Uncle Rhett? You're not thankful to have him, are you? Uncle Rhett, man, you're the best. You're great. But, Mom, you know how it is with your mother. You love your mother very much. Oh, man. A mother-child relationship is one of the most sacred in this life. I'm only kidding. It doesn't compare. I know you are. I know you are. But it's... Oh, I love Linda, and I think, I remember when my brother and her broke up, and I was like, what are you doing? I mean, it was a very unstable time for me. I was 15. It was the summer of Woodstock, 1969, and they were living at a farmhouse right outside of New Paltz, New York. And we drove to Woodstock, Linda, myself, my brother, little Bobby Odell, a bunch of other people. Some are dead and gone, and some are still alive. But we all went to Woodstock. We walked 11 miles that day. And, I was so devastated because I loved Linda. Linda was this very tall, with long black hair, very pretty young lady, and with her roommate Dee Dee. And anyway, they got together, my brother and her. I don't even know how that happened. And they were together, I guess, about a year. And, of course, you were the result of that year. And, I was, anyway, so I was really upset when they broke up. And, but Linda, of course, is truly an intelligent individual and is a great artist. I mean, like I do my little folk art. Well, she's I consider like a real artist. Not that I should put myself down, but she can paint like a building so it looks like a building, or a person so it looks like the person. You know what I mean? Little detail stuff. And she's also now married to a fine human being. What's his name again? James? Kevin. Didn't she? I mean, those two are just a lovely little place. They welcomed me into their home after all these years. And I ran into Linda, of course, up in Rhinebeck. And, of course, she was kind of, I don't know the words terse or not abrupt, but she said hello. And I didn't even know about this. I believe I don't know if my brother was still alive then or not. I forget, but I won't remember her driving off thinking, well, that was kind of like, I wish it had been a warmer connection, but I had no idea even then that you existed, And, right, and just seeing you brought up all that pain for her. So you didn't understand that dynamic. No. You didn't know how to take it.
And now, I mean, and being associated with my brother, who she was angry with, and rightfully so, I think. But now has welcomed me into her home and spent the night there with you guys, and she's just a wonderful human being. And now, actually, she's part of my family. She's your mother. You're my nephew, and it's kind of really, it's really absolutely cool. I hope this is interesting to the people listening out there. It's obviously interesting to us, but I think people today look at this new TV show, this Ancestry.com and all this stuff, and a 23andMe. I now have a niece and a full family from her because of 23andMe. I now have James. How did you find? Was it 23andMe or Ancestry.com? How did you find us, James?
I had to use both. I found my maternal family with Ancestry.com and my paternal family with 23andMe.com. It's almost a shame they do this, but the databases are totally segregated. So you can match people in Ancestry. If they didn't submit their DNA to 23andMe, you won't match them there. So, is there any chance that I could have a child out there? Well, not in the database, because which one did you do? Did you do Ancestry or 23andMe? Ancestry. So, no, not in that database, because if you had a child out there in that database, it would be my cousin. But I might. So you don't think I do then? Well, they would match. Yeah, if they were in the database. I was kind of hopeful because it was the '60s, and right. It was the '60s. Well, it's not an impossibility. I'm just saying they're not in the database. Yeah, I know. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I remember I was tall for my age, and I was like 15 or something. I had this affair with a Vassar girl. She was from jolly old England, I say that. She was rather. I'm envious. And these were all very intelligent gals there. Some of them snooty, because I also remember one girl out in the parking lot one day. She says, "Well, what is your name? And I'm sure whatever you do is of little consequence." Can you imagine saying that to a boy at 14 or 15? How mean! I still can quote it to this day. Talk about hurtful words. What is your name? And I'm sure whatever you do is of little consequence. Well, that wasn't that nice. At least you had a family maybe that brought you up, and I was living out on the streets. So don't be so cocky. And by the way, what are you doing now? You're probably old and fat and living in England, and you had too many biscuits over there. Well, I'm a radio talk host in America, so take your fog and where you can go with it. But anyway, we might have had a child. You never know. Wouldn't that be cool, though? I think the greatest fear is though somebody comes knocking at the door, ding dong, and you got this guy that says, "Well, this is Farmer Bale here. I ain't got no teeth in my mouth, but I'm a good worker out here with the horses." Well, that's an interesting joke you're making, because it is something you wonder. When I started with the DNA test, and I thought of the potential of finding, which I was very pessimistic, so I didn't think I would find anyone. But I always, what if I found like a terrible group of people? I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky in who I found across the board. I mean, just. Well, me too. Look at Cece. I mean, Cece could be married to some jerk. Instead, Joel and I have become good friends, And I love him. Joel's a great guy. I love him. I got all these people to love. Well, listen, we're going to take another break. We got one more half hour coming up. You guys can stay on the line, right? We can. Okay, we'll be back. This is the Mayor of the Airwaves, turning 64 today.
Will you still feed me when I'm 64?